And he was contacted by Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google, and he said, wouldn't it be amazing if you could make it a reality? I'm Tim from Mosa Meat, and we produce meat by growing it from animal cells. So it's not a meat alternative, it's not plant-based, it is actual meat, so that people can enjoy eating meat without all the downsides that we all know.
What's the motivation behind starting this company? Do you remember the spark that drove it all?
Yes, so tissue engineering, so growing actual tissue, is already existing in the medical field, but now we're applying it to grow meat, and that's because meat just has an incredible footprint. Like 15% of all greenhouse gases comes from meat. Almost 30% of all land is used to produce meat. 25% of all water, and with population growth and more people eating meat, it's just completely unsustainable.
Do you know how you made the jump basically from scientific knowledge to the business world?
So we made the jump from academia to business basically because there was a research paper by Professor Mark Post saying it is possible to make this meat. And he was contacted by Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google, and he said, wouldn't it be amazing if you could make it a reality, create a burger that's produced in this way? And that's how in 2013 Mark Post actually showed it to the world, and they ate and tested this hamburger, which kind of was the start of a new industry where companies grow, for example, beef or pork or poultry or even leather from cells instead of growing an entire animal and then slaughtering it and then using the products.
If you look back at the start, what are the things you're most proud of, basically?
The 2013 hamburger is of course, an iconic moment because that showed the world that it is possible to make this, and that it is real, not just fiction. And I think what I'm really proud of at the moment is that since then the team has been constantly optimizing. So that first hamburger was way too expensive. It cost $330,000 to produce, so the cost came down. It was a bit dry because it needed more fat, so that's been added. And we're not using any animal products to grow it. And that the team of very clever people was able to find solutions for all the issues you encounter along the way. That flexibility and that drive to get new scientific knowledge is incredible to see.
What do you like most about running a company?
If you build a company, I think the most fantastic thing is that you have this far out goal, this vision of the world could be different with what we do, and then step by step organizing that. Could be starting by you have to have tables and some chairs where you can work, from the very mundane to what would be a business model, how do you actually get this to market. So the breadth of that is super interesting.
And right now, what's the most important challenge for you as a company?
The most important challenge now is to get costs down. So we've showed that it is possible to create a hamburger. We're going to show that it's possible to have a scalable hamburger, and the biggest difference there would be the cost, so that eventually it's the same price as regular meat.
Once you're there, what will the company look like when you have conquered those challenges, basically, and you've become sort of an adult or a grown-up as a company?
So being grown up as a company, of course we started with a hamburger, but that's not the end goal. So first we'll start to go into production with a hamburger, but eventually we want to grow real steak, real juicy, tender steak. And it even doesn't stop there, because you can also create other types of meat. So a grown-up company would be having all kinds of meat available to everybody at a competitive price, being delicious, sustainable, all across the world. So it's a big and lofty goal, but it's fundamentally possible.
Big and lofty goals require funding, of course. Is there an amount you're looking for at the moment? And if so, what are you intending to spend it on?
Yeah. So we've raised a Series A of almost $9 million, and we're looking for a Series B. We're actively raising a series later on. The exact amount, I don't have that yet, but we've used Series A for growing the R&D team and creating the first production facilities. Series B would go towards creating a really larger factory so that you can get the price down significantly.
What do you hope to learn in Silicon Valley, which is the mecca of entrepreneurship, of course?
Yeah. What I hope to learn in Silicon Valley is that apart from the product that you're making, there's a whole art of how do you actually build a company, how do you build a team, how do you define the right business models, how do you shift when things are different, how do you then have a network of mentors that you can help build all those things, how do you go to market and really scale up